Salve omnes. I am Magistra Abelseth, and in this video I'm going to be talking you through the translation for the introduction passage in the Phaedrus corpus. This is the prologue. Lines 1 and 2. Aesalpus auctor quam materiam reperit, hunc ego polivi versibus scenariis. Our vocab help tells us that the auctor, auctoris, masculine word, it means author. Reperio, reperire, verb, means to invent. And swap quam with hunc, this which rather than which this. It'll help your English translation go a little bit more smoothly. For line 2, we have polio, polire, means to polish. Scenarius, scenaria, scenarium, as an adjective, it means a group of 6. Some additional notes to help you make sense of this. Auctor describes aesopus. Quam and hunc both describe materiam, and versibus and scenariis are both ablative. As a sentence, rather than poetry, I wanted, and also in English word order, just this first 2-line sentences, the word order is not jumbled because it's not an accident, but it is sort of stacked or wound up on top of itself. So looking at it in a word order that will be a little bit more intuitive for English speakers. Auctor aesopus reperit hunc materiam quam ego polivi versibus scenariis. Pause the video, take a couple minutes, and write down your best guess for your translation. All right, let's look at lines 3 and 4. Duplex libellidos est, quod risum movet, et quod prudenti vitam consilio monet. In line 3, duplex, duplici, means twofold. Dos dotis, feminine, means dowry. Risus, risus, masculine, means laughter. Risus is a 4th declension noun. Those are sort of rare, but you'll notice that it looks very much like 2nd declension, and that um ending on risum is still an accusative singular. In line 4, our vocab help tells us prudens, prudentis means wise. Consilium, consilii is a neuter noun meaning advice. Moneo, monera is a verb meaning to warn or to caution. Some extra notes to help you make sense of this. Prudenti describes consilio, and they're both ablative. Monet is generally to warn or caution, but in the context of giving advice, just to help you understand what is being said in this sentence. The word order in these 2 lines is a little bit easier to work with. The quote in line 3 and the quote in line 4 might make more sense as 1st and 2nd. Those are both, each one of those words introduces one of the 2 parts. So it's saying that there's a twofold dowry. One of those parts is the risum movet. The other part is the prudenti vitam consilio monet. Pause the video again. Take a few minutes and do your best work, your best guess with your translation if you haven't done so already. All right, lines 5 to 7. Calumniari si quis autem voluerit, quod arbores loquantur non tantum ferae, fictis iocarinos memenerit fabulis. Our vocabulary help for line 5, calumnior, calumniari is to accuse falsely, to misrepresent. This is also a deponent verb. Deponent verbs look like they have passive forms, but when we translate them into English, they will have active meanings. So calumniari is a present passive infinitive in form, but when we translate it into English, it will be a present active infinitive, to accuse or accusing. Quis is actually the word aliquis. So aliqui, aliquai, aliquis, aliquis. This pronoun means anyone or anything, and that ali in the front sometimes drops off if we have a si, a nisi, a num, or a ne in front of the aliquis. So the quis isn't just who, it's anyone. Autem means however. Volo, vele, volui is to want. And then our vocab for line 6, loquor loqui, to speak, to say, to converse, and this is another deponent verb. So it looks like a third plural passive, but it is a third plural active, present tense. Non tantum means not only. Fera ferai is a feminine word that means wild animals or beasts. The quote in line 6. Quote in Latin is so much more versatile than our word what in English. Sometimes it's closer to our word that in English. What he's saying is if anybody wants to make an accusation, which is that. The quote introduces what the accusation is or would be. So the accusation would be arbores loquantur non tantum ferae. Then our vocab help in line 7, we have facio, facere, feci, factus, to make or to do. And in this context, made up or fabricated. Fictis is a perfect passive participle of facio, facere, feci, factus. It is describing fabulis. Memini, meminisse is an irregular verb. It means to remember. And you might get the most sensible English translation if you use the phrase, he would do well to remember. So if anyone would make that accusation, that person would do well to remember fictis jocari nos fabulis. Jocor, jocari is to joke, and this is another deponent verb. So jocari, like calumniari, is a present active infinitive when you translate it, even though it looks like a present passive infinitive. Okay, that was a lot of information. Pause the video, and if you haven't already worked through your own translation, take a minute and do that now. All right. Here is the full English translation. The author Aesop invented this material. Sorry, that's a typo. It should be this material, hunc materiam, which I have polished in 6-foot verses. The dowry of the book is twofold, which first part moves laughter, and which second part warns or cautions a life with wise advice. If, however, anyone might have wanted to accuse us, because not only the wild beasts, but also the trees speak, he should remember that we joke in our made-up stories. Compare this with your own translation work. Some minor variation is usually fine, but keep in mind that accusative direct objects should be accusative direct objects, even if your word order is a little bit different. Some vocabulary variation is also okay, but be careful of wandering too far from what a word actually means. If you have questions about how this translation should go, you can send me an email and I will get back to you with any feedback that based on whatever your translation is and what you're asking about. All right, grammar and comprehension questions. Here's our full Latin passage. Aesopus auctor quam materiam reperit, hanc ego polivi versibus scenariis, duplex libellidos est, quod risum movet, et quod prudenti vitam consilio monet, calumniarisi quis autem voluerit, quod arbores loquantur non tantum ferae, fictis jocari nos memenerit fabulis. All right, the subject of reperit. So in other words, who wrote the material? Remember that reperit means to bring out, to put forth, to set down. The original author of the material is Aesop or Aesopus. The two purposes of the book. For this, we're looking in lines 3 and 4. Duplex, dos est. The dowry is twofold. Quod risum movet and quod prudenti vitam consilio monet. In the first place, to make you laugh, risum, and in the second place, to give you some good advice, prudenti consilio. And our third question, the person, number, and tense of movet. Movet ends in T. It is a second conjugation verb, so that E stem moet is present tense, and the T tells us that it is third person singular. So we have third person singular present. If you got something different and you have questions about why the right answer is the right answer, or if anything in here just doesn't make sense, please send me an email and I will get back to you with a more detailed response to your questions, whatever your questions might be.